The most horrific solved cold case of Linda Lansen. In the world of crime, some cases remain unsolved for years, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unspeakable horrors. But today, we bring you the story of a cold case that was solved after 39 years, thanks to the relentless pursuit of justice by law enforcement officials. Today, we are going to discuss the tragic case of Linda Lansen. This is a story of a young girl whose life was taken away from her brutally, but with the help of forensic science, her killer was caught. It's a nearly 39-year-old mystery that has haunted the Tampa Bay area. The rape and murder of Linda Lansen had remained an unsolved cold case for decades until now. And what's more, the men responsible for her brutal death were also behind 3 other murders in the area. Incredibly, one of the men was already behind bars, while the other had died in prison. The story of Linda Lansen, Barbara Grams, Hermania Castro, and Carlos Orellana is a heartbreaking one. These 4 individuals, of varying ages and backgrounds, all met with violent deaths at the hands of 2 already imprisoned Florida men, Amos Robinson and Adron Scott. For decades, their murders remained unsolved, causing untold grief for their families. But thanks to the tireless work of the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office and law enforcement agencies, justice has finally been served. Linda Lansen was just 41 years old when she was raped and murdered in August 1983. A month later, 19-year-old Barbara Grams suffered a similar fate. Hermania Castro, aged 55, and Carlos Orellana, aged 33, would also meet their end at the hands of these killers. For years, the families of the victims were left in a state of limbo, wondering if justice would ever be served. But thanks to advancements in forensic technology and the creation of the Conviction Review Unit within the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office, a breakthrough was finally made. Assistant State Attorney Teresa Hall, who supervises the unit, contacted the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, HCSO, in 2021 about the Lansen killing. Detectives were then able to gather evidence and build a case against Robinson and Scott. We've now connected Amos Robinson to 4 murders in the span of 103 days in Tampa in 1983, and Adron Scott to 3 murders, said Hillsborough County State Attorney Andrew Warren. These men are serial murderers and rapists, and although they're already serving a life sentence, their crimes against Barbara Grams and Linda Lansen cannot and will not go unpunished. The road to justice was a long and arduous one, with the case being reopened twice over the decades without any viable suspects being found. It's a testament to the importance of conviction review units that more state attorneys' offices should adopt them. These units provide a crucial avenue for solving cold cases and bringing justice to the families of victims. Justice may not always be swift, but it is always worth pursuing. For the families of the victims, the grief never goes away. But with the resolution of these cases, they can finally have closure. It's important to remember that the impact of these crimes extends far beyond the immediate families of the victims. The community at large is also affected. When someone is taken from us in such a violent and senseless way, it shakes us to our core. But even in the face of such horror, we must continue to fight for justice and the protection of our communities. We must honor the memories of Linda Lansen, Barbara Grams, Hermania Castro, and Carlos Orellana by working together to ensure that crimes like these never happen again. The resolution of these cases also sends a clear message to those who would seek to harm others. No matter how much time has passed, no matter how seemingly unsolvable a case may seem, justice will be served. We will not rest until every victim has their day in court and every perpetrator is brought to justice. The road to justice was long and difficult, but the families of the victims can now rest a little easier, knowing that the men responsible for the murders are behind bars. And while there is still work to be done, the progress made in the investigations into the murders of Castro and Orellana gives hope that justice will soon be served for those victims as well.